Shout out to our sponsors. First one, Inverted Gear. Go to www.invertedgear.com. Type in the coupon code ShowTheArt15 and save yourself 15% off Jiujitsu gis, Jiujitsu rash guards, shorts, cool t-shirts, anything you want. Put it in the cart. Type in the coupon code ShowTheArt15, the number 15, and save yourself 15%. Our next sponsor is Chimera Coffee. Go to Chimera Coffee, KIMERAKOFFEE.com. Type in the coupon code ShowTheArt and save yourself 10% off any and all of their products. That's coffee infused with nootropics, or their cacao booster, which is raw cacao with cinnamon and L-glutamine. Help you recover with some flavor. Coupon code ShowTheArt, ChimeraCoffee.com. Save money. Our last sponsor is also our graphic designer who designed our logo for the podcast, M85 Designs. Go to M85.com and check out their stuff. They have pretty cool rash guards, some cool stuff. The coupon code should be STA something. Dang, I don't even remember. STA20. Type in the coupon code, the promo code STA20. Go to M85. Spell it all out. MEIGHTYFIVE.com. Type in the coupon code STA20. Save yourself 20% off. And enjoy the podcast.
Keep playing that.
What?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? You keep the whole thing. Do not edit it. Let them hear the whole thing. You're listening to the, I was going to say Ames and Abe show. You're listening to the Show the Art podcast. We're your host on this beautiful Monday afternoon. It's afternoon, right? We are your host. Like I said, my name is Ames. Alongside with me is my boy, Abe.
Yes.
What's good, man?
I'm here.
How you feeling?
We're here.
We're here. We're actually a new setup. Maybe that's why I'm saying things a little differently, because we're not in our usual place.
We're on location.
We're at headquarters. We're at Awad headquarters. We're at his place right now, just chilling on.
Don't tell them where we're at.
Okay.
I don't want people flocking to the front door.
I was gonna give the address, but we're just chilling in his living room right now, sipping on Turkish coffee that he made, man, and it is delicious. I'm firing on all cylinders. How about you?
I am now that I have this Turkish coffee in my
It's good,
belly.
man. It's good.
Yeah.
Today, Abe.
Yeah.
Who do we have on? Give him the breakdown.
We got our boy Ralph on. Rafael.
No kind of intro, dog. No, like.
You know what? The coffee grounds are like stuck in my throat right now.
No introduction needed.
Hey, that's true. That's true.
So Ralph is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He trains with us at Subforce. Blue belt. Really good guy, really good at jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a musician, right, Ralph?
Preach.
He's an artist. And yeah.
He does it all. Gamer.
Ralph, guys.
Give him a round of applause.
Yeah. And he is a comic book expert, I'd like to say. He has, as I am a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, he's probably a brown belt, if not more.
I would say second-degree black belt.
In Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel martial arts.
Yeah,
Marvel martial.
I'm awful with DC.
Oh, are you? Okay, so you are Marvel black belt.
Mm.
That's cool, man. I dig it. Ralph, how you feeling, man?
I'm good.
So, Ralph, give us a little background on who you are, what you do.
How you started jiu-jitsu.
And everything that you do, not just jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a swim coach, and that was basically something I'd done for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
Through that, it kind of gives me a lot of time to do whatever I want. So I kind of I free up my time by painting, doing music, playing way too many video games.
You're just talking about Destiny, but go on.
And just I read a lot of comics, way too many. I think over the years I've spent.
Talk closer to the mic.
I don't know, a few thousand.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Damn.
I looked at it the other day.
So
and I was
you
just
really?
I gotta relax.
Do you have the collection?
Yeah, like there's a few.
Can you fill up a room filled with comic books?
No, it's not that bad. At least
Okay.
one side of a room, though.
Wow.
If I go to
that's
your
still
house,
really
does it
good.
look like an episode of Hoarders? Like stacks of magazines?
stacks on stacks
Kind
on
of.
stacks?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's
That's
bad.
impressive, man.
Not really.
But hey, it's not like you're collecting junk. That's the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
But if you like in hindsight, when you look at it, like I have maybe out of the couple, maybe thousands of comics that I have, there's maybe like 100 that are actually worth something.
Okay.
Ah.
So, and then it's not even that much. Like maybe it'll be like $10 where I paid like $3 for it. So.
I see. Well, does any of those comics have the opportunity or like the potential of selling high down the road?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's a few, but at the same time, it's one of those things that fluctuates.
Yeah.
Where like certain comics will be super hype
Okay.
at a time. Like for instance, I think it was the first edition, or not a first edition. Like it was like the first appearance of Miles Morales, the Black Latino Spanish
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
In the Ultimate. So when he came over, I don't know if it was the Ultimates or if he came over to like the actual Marvel universe, that one blew up.
Wow.
And the number one edition was like, at one point, I think it went for like $100, $200 or something.
Wow.
But then a couple months later, now it's like you can get it for like $50.
No kidding.
So-
But still, that's still.
Yeah.
Wow, but that's crazy.
That is pretty
Can you
crazy.
give a breakdown real quick or explain how these new characters coming out? Like a new Spider-Man, like a new Iron Man, all that
Hold on. What do
stuff.
you mean? I don't get your question.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, right now, correct me if I'm wrong. There's like not an evolution, but like there's new people playing that role. Like there's a new Iron Man.
Oh, yeah,
It's like
yeah. Really? There's a new Iron Man?
Like
Yeah.
a black woman or black
Pretty much.
teenager.
A black girl is playing
Yeah.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
What?
There's a story. Well, go ahead.
Break.
Break it down.
I'm a little bit out of the sync right now.
Okay.
Like I have all the comics, but I just haven't caught up
Okay.
with them.
Gotcha.
But I think it started. It was some like the all new whatever, like
Okay.
all new Spider-Man, all new Iron Man. They started a whole new series.
Yeah.
Where basically, they kind of revamped everything. So they did these huge multi-universe storylines.
Mhm.
It started with, I think it was Avengers versus X. At least the one where I really started to get into it. It's Avengers versus X-Men,
Okay.
where it was basically the Avengers versus the X-Men. And that kind of started this whole domino effect of different things. So
I see.
certain characters were dying off, and then
Can I
new
ask you a
characters.
question about that? Not
Yeah.
to cut you off, but all these movies that are coming out, for the person like me that didn't really grow up reading comic books,
Yeah.
I hear of new characters that I've never heard before, besides the popular Spider-Man and Wolverine and those type of characters. But then I hear of new people like Ant-Man and things like that.
Yeah.
Are all the characters that they're making movies of, let's say, or that they're putting in movies as well, were they all from past things, or are they making up new ones now?
They would either have like a very, minuscule appearance in a comic, or they were just older characters that never really kind of broke out of the Silver Age.
Mhm.
So the Silver Age in comics was basically like Stan Lee's era, like the
Okay.
60s, 70s,
Mhm.
like when Thor was coming out, like all those characters that we know now,
Yeah.
Thor, Fantastic Four.
The popular ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called the Silver Age. And so a lot of these characters were from there. So you have Wasp, Ant-Man, and then Ant-Man, his character Hank Pym, kind of transforms into other characters. But it was one of those things, it's kind of happened to the Fantastic Four now, where they're just not popular anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just doesn't resonate with
You know what happened with the
Fantastic Four is totally ass.
Yeah, you know what killed the Fantastic Four?
Fox.
Making the movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Making
man.
the movies.
I did. I used to watch the cartoons all the time.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
They were perfectly fine with
Yeah.
me, and all of a sudden, you put Jessica Alba, Chris Evans.
But
They
if
made
you
two
look at
different
it-
ones.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you look
They're
at it,
both
the
crap.
first one wasn't as bad as the newer one. The
you
recent
know
one.
what? I
True.
haven't.
True.
After the first one, I didn't watch the second, the Silver Surfer one,
Okay.
or even the. I heard the Fox one was really.
It
Yeah.
was trash.
I watched
really
the
bad.
latest one on like FX Now or whatever it's called in
Okay.
the app, just because
Yeah.
I was bored,
You fell
Yeah.
asleep.
and it was hard to finish. I wanted to finish it just to finish it,
Yeah.
but it was hard, man.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it because Michael B. Jordan. He's one of my favorite actors right
Yeah.
now. The guy that's starting Creed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he is.
That's
in
the
it,
reason
yeah.
why I want to watch it. But then there were
Hold
all
on,
these
he's one of your
reviews.
favorite actors from one movie.
No. He was in the like the
I saw
sci-fi movie.
I saw him in one movie, and
You know
now
what I'm
he's
talking
my
about?
favorite.
He had like superpowers, like an alien.
Stargate.
Now I gotta look it up.
Started with I think it started with a C.
Yeah,
It was like 3 friends. They
Yeah.
randomly happen to, find a crash site,
yeah.
and they get these weird powers, and then they start flying around. But then one of them.
Oh,
like,
is that like Chronicle or something?
Yeah,
There
that
you
one.
go,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's from
Chronicle. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see that movie.
but isn't that the name?
I think it's something
Yeah.
like that. I think
No,
it's
there
like
is a movie called Chronicle with people that fly.
Yeah.
I watched like the
Yeah.
first 20 minutes and
You
stopped.
don't like it?
I just didn't give it a chance.
Yeah, that's where I first saw him. So when I saw him on Fantastic Four, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I remember you. I want you to do well.
Yeah.
That
And then-
movie was pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, I feel like the new Power Rangers movie just
Is the
took that
yeah.
that storyline.
I just saw the trailer last night because I saw
Yeah.
Logan. I don't know, man.
Oh, okay,
I
on
don't
an
know.
excitement level, 1 to 10.
Let me give you a background story of who I am first of all, and how I'm related to these things. I got into martial
You're not
arts.
related to the Power Rangers.
Yeah, I am.
Go home.
I
with
got
that.
into martial arts because as a kid, that's all I would watch.
True.
Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles,
Bruce
the
Lee.
classic story,
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, whatever. So I was
Jean-Claude
really,
Van Damme.
you know me, but the people don't.
Dolph Lundgren.
I hated him. But so I watched the Power
Did
Rangers
you?
a lot as a
Okay.
kid. I didn't really keep up with comic books, but there was a comic book store around the corner from my house,
Okay.
and I used to go there all the time. Not necessarily for the comic books, for the video games, for the arcade games. They had
Yeah, yeah.
2 arcade games, like X-Men versus Street Fighter, stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Or Street Fighter
Marvel
two.
versus Capcom.
Marvel
Capcom.
versus. There was a couple of different ones.
White belt.
So I used to go there all the time, play those games.
Go on.
Every now and then I'd buy a comic book, and I just wasn't interested. So fast forward how many years? Now I see the
Okay.
Power Rangers trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It didn't get. It was like the beginning of it. Maybe they showed too much.
It looks like
It looked a little corny.
to me. It looks like Twilight with like, but the Power Rangers, like
Yeah.
the way they have it.
Yeah, I
edited.
don't know. I just feel like granted, they're trying to bring it to a new generation.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Introduce like these characters in a different way that would kind of
Which is different.
make sense to
Yeah.
kids nowadays.
I like that. I like when they make up a story to help you understand better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Ninja Turtles, didn't they do that in the
Yeah.
the new Ninja Turtles movie? Yeah. Radical.
It was so
Yeah.
Cowabunga.
Yeah.
No,
Um, but-
I didn't see that one either. But go ahead.
It don't.
Okay.
It's way too long.
Is
like,
it?
for some reason?
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
make
Yeah.
any sense to
So
me.
the original
Ninja Turtles.
movie was probably my favorite was the one with Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
love
the
her.
second one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I was gonna say that's from Surf Ninjas. Kwanzaa, dude. That's from Surf Ninjas.
Yo, I used to love Surf
Yeah.
Ninjas.
If you don't know what we're talking, guys,
Channel
you're
11
too young.
yeah.
Just turn this off.
Channel 11 Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a movie, or Channel 12. Which one was
Channel
it?
11.
Channel 11.
Yeah.
Come on.
WB. Then I would
Yeah.
CW, right?
I don't even know,
yeah.
man. But
Um,
so let's go into a little bit of connections. Since we're talking about Logan for a second
Yeah.
ago. Great movie. Spoiler alert. If you didn't see it, spoiler alert. But how does Logan, because I've seen all the Wolverine related movies, whatever he
Yeah.
was in, whether it's Wolverine or X-Men, whatever. Relate to Logan. Where is that? And is that the same? Is that just a made up story? How does that relate to all the other X-Men movies?
So that storyline actually started in the comics, kind of.
Okay.
The idea of it was in Marvel. They had they're basically called graphic novels, so they're kind of standalone stories. They do their own thing, and this one was called Old Man Logan. Phenomenal stories. So
Mhm.
check it out if you. It's like an 8-part series, but if you get it at like Barnes Noble, they have like the actual like omnibook or whatever.
Okay.
And so in that story, it's in like a desolate future where Logan isn't Wolverine anymore. He basically refuses to unsheath his claws just
Yeah.
because, I don't want to spoil anything, but some shit happened back in the day, and it just messed him up. And so he's just
Yeah,
like,
because
no
they
more.
referred to that in the movie.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what they were talking about.
I don't want to spoil the movie anyway, but they...
Did they talk about it? No,
yeah,
spoil the movie.
kind of.
If you
Yeah,
didn't see
they
the
did.
movie, turn this off, watch
Okay.
the movie, then come back.
All
So,
right, so spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I didn't have you on to not talk about it. Right?
True.
So talk.
Yeah.
So Professor X
Yeah.
they kind of switched up in the comics. Logan does some crazy stuff in the movie. Professor X is the
yes.
one, and so because he was having those episodes, it was like
seizures,
Alzheimer's and seizures and dementia, whatever. His powers were going out of control, and so I mean, they kind of hinted at it, so I'm gonna assume that this is what he did. But when he was just driving in the car, when he first stole that truck, you hear it, or bought the truck, you hear on the radio after
what happened before,
in Westchester, and then Logan turned it off because he doesn't want Professor X to remember.
I think on the ride it said he killed like 400 people plus the X-Men.
So that episode that happened to him in the movie happened on a much greater scale.
Yeah, and I think he basically wiped out the X-Men. Not the X-Men, but like the school for gifted students or whatever. And the thing is, I think that's why he keeps giving him that medicine to suppress his powers, but at the same time,
because they're afraid if he remembers, he's gonna do even worse damage, right?
Yeah.
He'll go even crazier.
Yeah, he'll just break down. And in the comics, it was Logan that did that, Wolverine. So basically what happens that starts everything, all the bad guys, like every bad guy, Red Skull from Captain America, Mysterio from Spider-Man, Kingpin, all these bad guys, they all join together and just wipe out the Marvel Universe.
So
who's in the Marvel Universe again? Just to throw...
So...
Like Captain America,
Thor, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, all these guys.
They
like
took
all those
them
big
out.
names. Basically, they all joined together, and they basically they put all their powers together. They essentially teamed up. And so what happened was...
Superman?
That's DC.
Okay.
So Superman,
you gotta guide
Batman,
me.
Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, that's all DC.
You gotta hold my hand and guide me.
We got you,
I'm
dog.
catching up.
Yeah.
It's the labels that I don't get yet, but
It's all good. That's why we're here.
So hold on, real quick question. So was this related to the Wolverine that was in X-Men Apocalypse, where he was like, they had him caged off and he was crazy, he didn't remember anything or something like that?
That's Fox messed up the storyline. Not the storyline, but the timeline. And so basically what happened when they came out with Wolverine Origins, that kind of tells that story. So in the comics, you know how, like, you kind of find out how Wolverine became. Like, he was in the Weapon X program, all that stuff. So that's basically the same time, kind of, as X-Men Origins.
Okay.
But at the same time, X-Men Origins just doesn't exist anymore. That's what they said. But essentially, it's the same time.
What do you mean it doesn't exist anymore?
They essentially, when they came out with First Class, they wiped that movie out because it's such a weird
ruined
timeline.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
X-Men Origins was its own weird timeline, and so not X-Men, Wolverine Origins, and so you don't know exactly when it takes place.
It's almost like a made-up story.
Yeah,
and that's okay if you made up a movie based on no comic book history. But tell us, right?
Yeah,
that's what we want.
So basically, you have characters from different times and different ages, and they're all together. Like in the comics, Emma Frost is there. She's in the First Class movie, which that was a little weird too. But Emma Frost, Scott Summers is there, Cyclops. Yeah. You see like these random mutants. They don't actually say their names and stuff like that. But Gambit's in there, and it's weird because it's all different ages, but at the same time, I think that was supposed to be in like the 80s or like right after Vietnam, so like early 80s, late 70s. It kind of messed everything up because then after that they came out with First Class, and that's in the 60s. And you have Emma Frost and Havoc, who's Cyclops' brother.
Now, Apocalypse, where does that stand in all the movies?
That's in the 80s. So essentially what they're doing with the movies, First Class is 60s. Days of Future Past is 70s, kind of, like late 60s, early 70s. Apocalypse is the 80s, and the next movie is supposed to come out. They're supposed to have, you remember in the cartoon they had Sinister or Sinestro or whatever his name is?
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister. He's going to be the villain, and it's going to be in the 90s. So
you
I'm assuming
Mr. Sinister?
Yeah.
Badass.
Weird,
no one can beat him except when Cyclops would
came
catch
through,
him with lasers. Like, okay, I'm out. You got me.
Now,
we out.
Where does those movies, like you said, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, they go in order like that? Where does X-Men 1, 2, and 3 come into play?
So,
If it did.
well,
Just
those are still kind of chronologically in play.
Yeah.
Kind of. But apparently they said that after Days of Future Past, that changed the entire timeline. So they might revamp everything.
Yeah.
Because 3 was a complete mess up just because it was a different director.
Yeah.
So basically what
Awesome.
happened is in 3, this guy came in, messed everything up, like killed off Professor X, killed off Cyclops.
Yeah. And Phoenix killed off
Yeah.
Professor X, right?
Yeah.
In the third one.
And
I got
so,
emotional during that one.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty.
So that messed everything
pretty
up.
scary.
But
Yeah.
then
Scary
they
stuff.
came out with Days of Future Past, and that changed the future. So it's kind of a different timeline.
Yeah.
So going forward, they might do something different, but essentially it's kind of back on track. And so
Okay.
that's still
So what
gonna
should I
happen.
erase from my memory? Because I'm still thinking of X-Men 3. Xavier is done.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching
Logan.
I'm like, why? Because
How'd
I
you
assume Logan is the most futuristic.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think they say it's like 2024,
Yeah.
something like that.
26.
2029 or something like that.
Yeah.
Around there.
But I think that's where that comes into play. Is after Days of Future Past, the timeline was different.
It changed everything
So
up.
it might have switched things up. But what's cool about Days of Future Past is it leads into Logan being captured by the Weapon X program and
Yes.
going into where you see him at Apocalypse, his berserker mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, if you want to put it into a perspective, it would be X-Men 1,
yeah,
right? Kind of after
kind
that.
of, yeah.
Well, X-Men 1, if it had a spot, it would be after Apocalypse,
basically,
pretty much.
yeah.
And they could basically do whatever they want because just look at Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We've seen I think it's the third one.
Yeah, that one. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
As soon as they get a different director, it changes the timeline.
Yeah.
It changes
Now,
the story.
Again, let's put an asterisk next to them on some list so we know what to erase and what not to erase.
yeah.
So I can,
Well, essentially, those stories are gone
Yeah.
from Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, like those are just done
yeah.
as far as in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Scratch it all out, baby.
And that's okay, right? Like, it's okay if you make a whole movie on Wolverine that was not existent in the comic books.
Yeah. So with Logan, the director said he wanted that to be kind of a standalone movie. So that's why it didn't have any after credit scene, and it didn't tie into any other movies really. Like it's so far into the future.
Kind of like some movies are based on a true story. Some of the X-Men movies could be based, or most of them are based on a true comic book.
Yeah.
But it's okay if it's completely fiction from the comic books, right?
Yeah.
Just let us know.
What were your thoughts on the movie?
Logan?
I loved it.
I thought
mean-
it was so dope, man.
Yeah,
Guys,
me
if
too.
you haven't watched it, it's like a totally different kind of feel
Yeah.
of like a superhero movie.
Well, what really does it is the rated R.
Yeah. Was this the first? This was the first
Second.
rated R.
Well, from Wolverine, yeah.
This is
Okay,
the
yeah.
first like impaling.
Oh, did you see Deadpool?
Well, Deadpool.
No,
You
with
gotta watch
Wolverine, I'm
Deadpool.
saying.
Oh, yeah.
Where Wolverine's
Well-
impaling dudes.
Yeah, he
Left and
kind
right.
of. They kind of hinted at it in because every movie, if they're PG-13, you're allowed a certain amount of blood,
Yeah.
and a certain,
Okay.
Or like one
curse
scene.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kind of hinted at it with when he broke out and went berserk.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, it was all. So
Yeah.
you got to see because in the comics, like Wolverine just destroys
Kills people, yeah. One of my favorite touches of this movie
Mm-hmm.
was Professor X not being like
Professor
the
X.
professional.
Yeah.
It was like old man Professor X. I don't give a fuck. Like
It's
like-
like senile, like get
Yeah.
off my lawn.
Yeah.
yeah, and like cursing and like being like a funny senile old man. Complete different side of him.
One of my favorite parts was in
Nice
the
stuff.
movie was when he stuck out his tongue. He was like, "Did you take your medicine?"
Yeah, he's like,
"Yeah, I took it." He
"Ah."
goes, "Show me." that had me dying, man. That
yeah.
was a great movie.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. Thank goodness. Well, my wife is pregnant. She's gonna have a boy. If she had a girl, I definitely would have cried.
Yeah. Now hold on.
Well, I mean, she might be badass, like Laura.
True.
Now Laura Laura's Wolverine's daughter, quote
Clone, essentially.
yeah, which they called her daughter because it's from his genes.
Yeah.
Did she exist in the comic book?
Yeah, she's X-23.
Yeah.
So
That's a badass story all on its own.
I guess we'll kind of put this on hold really quick just to kind of go back to what we were saying before about the all new superheroes.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
what they did now after like whatever all these big stories is certain characters died off, certain characters just disappeared, certain characters something happened. Like Captain America became old again, so he gave it to Falcon. What happened with Wolverine? He actually died in the comics, and so X-23 took over the mantle as Wolverine. So now you have X-23 as Wolverine.
Still a kid.
How did Wolverine?
Well, she's not a kid, she's like
She's grown.
Yeah.
Still 2 claws.
Yeah, it's same thing. Everything like she has a claw on her feet. And
that was
everything.
a nice touch.
Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah.
How did Wolverine die
In the
comic book?
In the comics, it's a series called Death of Wolverine, and basically he's going against someone, or he goes somewhere where there's like a disease, and the disease is wiping everybody out. But because he has the
healing power?
healing factor, it basically fights it off. But because it's fighting off this disease, he doesn't heal anymore, and so his healing factor is pretty much gone. So now,
just for the disease, though. So he's healing only the disease,
exactly.
but it's almost taking so much energy.
Yeah,
he can't heal from like wounds.
Yeah. So now when he fights, he's got to fight a lot smarter, because if he gets shot, he's gonna have an actual a bullet wound.
Yeah.
And so
Dope.
He it's like one of those like go out guns blazing kind of thing.
True.
He basically just wipes everyone out, but at the same time, like he ends up dying in the process, and then he gets adamantium, like molten adamantium, like just covers him,
Like Terminator 2.
basically.
Okay.
And so he just kind of like, it's just like this like
statue.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So it's this badass like fucking
Nice.
And from
send off.
what I hear, X2 is actually more badass, or like a better.
X2 the movie? What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
X23.
X23. I'm
the
sorry.
I was about to say, what?
Yeah, Laura.
X2.
You know, the movie X2 was
X2.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Ames, go back and watch it.
But yeah, with her, because she's, if you find out, if you read the early not X-Men, but the X-Men comics where they introduce Wolverine, he's very feral, like because he just broke out of Weapon X, like he doesn't know how to be a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where X-23 is, because she's basically a clone. She's been bred in a tube.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't have much human interaction. So she's just ballistic.
Those are nice touches to me, because even though they exist in the comics, it's something I wouldn't have thought of that makes sense in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And you know what made a lot of sense too in a fantasy world was Professor Xavier. It's like he has the strongest mind, but he's still human, so he can get a brain disease.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, wow, that's a good idea in the movie. Now, because he had a brain disease, so it messes with his brilliant, strong, powerful brain.
Yeah.
Did he have that kind of thing in any comic books? Some
Not
kind of
that
brain
I know
disorder,
of.
or did he die before you even?
Yeah, like currently he's dead. In the comics. But what's kind of cool is Red Skull, the Captain America guy, villain. He actually like took after Avengers vs. X-Men. Professor X dies from Cyclops. Actually, Cyclops gets taken over by the Phoenix Force that Jean Grey had.
Yep.
And then he goes crazy and kills Professor X.
Okay.
Now, Red Skull takes his body and cuts open his brain and inputs his brain into Red Skull's brain. So now he has Professor X's powers. So it's
that
like
sucks.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like these crazy storylines, putting out everything together.
It makes you want to read all of this.
It's cool. It's like essentially all this new stuff that's going on. Started in Avengers vs. X-Men.
Wow.
Avengers.
So that would be
X-Men.
for anyone listening right now that would want, like, you know what, I want to get into this right now. Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah,
and then
because
go on from there.
Cyclops becomes a bad. Like a lot of the X-Men are broken up now.
Damn.
Basically what starts it is the mutants are starting to, kind of what happened in this movie in Logan. Like the mutants are dying off. And then one mutant comes out, and her name is Hope.
Yeah.
And she's like the chosen one, or something, essentially. And so the Avengers are basically trying to hold on to Hope as like, you can't do anything because it's going to go crazy, whatever. Like, you guys are becoming radical.
Didn't they have a character like that in one of the X-Men movies?
Kind of.
A kid that like.
I think that was an X3 or something.
Yeah. Where that was like the one they had to.
Yeah, like
bring back.
he could. I think he was
like Professor
kind of
X.
Professor X on
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like this Omega level mutant or whatever.
But don't matter because he's out.
Because he's out anyway. Yeah. Interesting.
He don't matter. Yeah.
What was cool was the way they kind of introduced, well, not they introduced, but the way they talked about the mutants going missing or the mutants kind of being eradicated. That guy, Caliban.
Yeah.
He was actually in Apocalypse. I don't know if you guys remember that.
He looked so familiar. I wasn't sure if I saw him in an X-Men movie or another movie.
Well, I mean that
character.
When Psylocke is introduced in Apocalypse, that guy that she works for.
Who's Psylocke again?
Psylocke is the she's
Olivia Munn.
Yeah, Olivia Munn, the Asian character with the like really
Okay.
Purple.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's Caliban. Like he could basically hunt.
Morph.
Yeah. No, well, he hunts mutants. Well, he can sense. Like he's like a Cerebro, so he can sense where any mutant is at any time. Or
But you
whatever.
said that's him in Apocalypse, just a female
Younger.
version?
No. Caliban is the
You said
He's-
Psylocke.
no. He's the boss of Psylocke.
Oh, okay.
So when
gotcha.
Psylocke is introduced, that dude that's next to her, or
Collecting
like
things.
she's like his muscle. Basically.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I remember.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what's his name? Apocalypse. He was with them in that scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And then he was like trying to
Yeah,
Right.
and so
Okay.
Caliban's pretty much always been a bad guy, and you find out that Caliban used to work for that company.
Yes.
And hunted down all the mutants, and so it's cool to kind of see
The
how they brought it
connections.
into over
Yeah.
there.
And in Logan, he's kind of more of a good guy now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess they never actually say why he
Yeah.
became good, but
Yeah.
you kind of get to see.
Yeah,
him.
that's why I was so familiar because
Yeah.
I'm like a blue belt in comics, like in Marvel, whatever. Maybe 4th degree white belt, right? So when they said Callum, I'm like, his name sounds familiar,
Right?
but I don't remember him being
Yeah.
a good guy. So
Yeah.
it's cool that you kind of
Mhm.
help that
Yeah.
put that missing piece in.
Yeah,
So
that's
now
kinda cool.
let's go with this with a question. Out of all, because Logan was really one of my favorite superhero movies
Uh-huh.
of all time. Ralph, what's your top 3 movies?
Captain America 1, 2, and 3.
Nice.
Really?
Well, that was easy.
I love
Because you're
I
a
mean,
Captain America
yeah.
fan.
Captain America was the last 2. I wasn't a big fan of the first one just because the way I am.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Winter Soldier, Civil War, and I think The Dark Knight, the one with Joker.
Okay,
That one was those are my top 3.
Okay.
I have to.
Is it my
I
turn?
have to I don't know. I there was too much hype for Dark Knight for me to like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, but I
Yeah.
think the only reason people loved it so much is because Heath Ledger died.
Died.
That's just
I
my
see.
opinion.
You know, that's like people talking about The Crow.
Yeah, exactly.
For
that's-
me, Dark Knight is one of my top 3 of all time,
Yeah.
period.
Mhm.
I generally stay away from the hype. I generally stay away from trailers
yeah,
because
Yeah.
I don't like spoiling things for
Okay.
myself.
exactly.
So
yeah.
I did well with that with most movies.
Yeah.
So I generally liked it just because of the movie itself.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I can see how like hyping something up so much spoils it for yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I was the total opposite because I remember right before Heath Ledger. I mean, when he was picked, the last movie he did was Brokeback Mountain. Do you remember that?
I didn't realize that
So
was the
I remember
case.
my initial thought, like, oh great, we got Brokeback
Yeah.
Joker. So I was like, I didn't expect anything. I'm like, all right, you know what? They'll make it work.
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I was like, oh,
that's true.
Schneik-
Yeah.
this is real deal Holyfield.
So who's your
You
who's
like
your
that?
favorite? Both of you guys, favorite all time
It was
comic book character.
It was Gambit, and then now it's Captain America because everything he stands for, like
Yeah.
that's I gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
How about you?
It
Not-
started out
It's
just
Captain Planet.
Just Captain Planet.
He's our hero.
Captain Kangaroo. No, Captain America was my very first comic. I still
Okay.
have the first one I ever bought.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was just one of those things. Like me and my buddy would play like superheroes. Like he'd be Batman, I'd be Captain America.
Nice.
And as I got older, I started liking Deadpool a lot.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. he does.
I've died down a lot with Deadpool, not necessarily because of anything with the character, but
okay.
I think it's just I'm one of those things. If it's out too much, like if I see it everywhere, just like
Yeah.
We're like
kinda bored
hipsters.
of it now.
It's like seeing your favorite indie band or like a underground like hip hop artist. Like you love him, you watch
Yeah.
him grow, and then when he becomes super popular, like I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sell out.
Yeah.
And
And they
that
play
way
your
you feel
song way
with
too
Deadpool?
much.
Is that what you feel with Deadpool?
Well,
Because I get like that with
not,
like a lot
not
of
to the
things.
extreme
Okay.
where I don't do anything Deadpool related. Like
Yeah.
I still buy all the comics.
Mhm.
Like literally the only comics I buy now, just because the storylines are all weird with the other
Mhm.
ones, is only Deadpool.
Okay.
I get you.
Um, And but yeah, so Captain America has always been like a constant for me, though.
Nice.
What about you?
My favorite was a toss-up between Wolverine and Batman.
You
But-
look like a Batman.
But I
kind
was
of
always
dude.
a Wolverine guy.
Oh, yeah?
I like Batman a lot, but when I think back to my childhood, I would lean towards Wolverine more, so I have to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very first, it was Superman, and then when the
I never
X-Men
cared for
cartoon.
Superman.
I liked.
I never cared for that stupid
'cause
curl
he was-
in his hair.
because it worked out a lot because he was strong.
No, I trust
No, that's
me.
why I liked
Yeah.
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Gambit, I saw Gambit on X-Men the cartoon. I'm
Yeah.
like, who is?
Yeah, he was
this?
cool. He was a cool guy.
He was
for
cool,
sure.
man. He was like the anti-hero. I didn't
Yeah.
know I liked anti-heroes before.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then now mine is a total opposite in Captain America.
Are we ever gonna see a movie where Wolverine is just slicing up the Ninja Turtles?
How
Probably
about this? What are the upcoming movies that you're most excited for? Number one, first one, gun to your dick in 3.
We're talking about
2,
what movies?
1.
Infinity War.
There you go.
What is that?
My friend.
It's
Oh my
like
god.
the next installation of the Avengers series.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything they're building up for from the beginning with Iron Man is for this moment.
Does he die?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't tell me. Does he die? Don't tell me.
Who?
Does he die?
Iron
Don't
Man?
tell me.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't.
We'll find out.
Well, apparently, Captain America is supposed to die, so I'm interested to
Don't
see
tell
how
me.
they do that.
Don't tell me.
It-
That's
well-
a bomb you just dropped.
Well,
that was
it's not necessarily anything that we can really foresee, but Chris Evans only had like 9 movies on his contract as
Yeah.
Captain America or something like that, and I think
This is number 9.
Infinity War will be like one of the last ones.
Damn.
Based
and
on a
then-
movie deal, they kill him off. God
Well,
damn.
because in that series he actually dies. Too.
Okay, so it's like about time.
Yeah, like Thanos just kills him. Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
not to cut you off, but do they know? Okay, they start Avengers 1. Do they know and have all the plans for all the other movies after?
I don't think they necessarily have plans cemented, but they have an idea.
Okay,
like
so they do have the
basically-
idea.
They map everything out. Like, well, we're gonna have this,
Okay.
this. Like Ant-Man was supposed to come out 2010, I think,
Hmm.
but then a lot of stuff happened, and then he was supposed to be in Avengers.
Okay.
Because in the comics, he's the one that created Ultron,
Hmm.
but because the timelines were all mixed up, and like not the timelines, but basically,
Well, he was
like
in the last one, right? The last
yeah,
Avengers.
in
Age
Civil
of-
War.
Oh, he was in Civil War. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
But it got messed up because the director fell out, and the writers and the producers and all this other nonsense happened, and so the movie was completely different. I think that's why it wasn't as popular, because I think if they had the original director, Ant-Man would have been a lot better, and they would have been able to time it. But stuff like that always happens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so that changes things up, and so they have to kind of, they're thrown a curveball,
Yeah.
and so they have to work with it.
And that's fine, but I guess my point is like, did they think of all this shit before they signed the movie deal? Like they signed it with 4 movies in mind, and then they plan it out, or?
Yeah.
But it's good
Yeah.
that you. Do you got to leave soon?
I'm looking at
How much time you have? Like 10 minutes?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, we're going in.
They came out with a new series. It's called Super.
How is that?
It's good. Not great, but it's enjoyable.
I got into it in the beginning. The only way I could access it was through WB, Channel 11.
Yeah.
But then after a while, which keeps showing reruns, I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't do
God
this.
damn it. Yeah.
I know every Sunday I'd wait, and then it's the same damn episode from 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
That's why I fell off it. And all my boys went
Yeah.
to Chinatown and picked up all the.
I heard the movie that they released last, the live action. I heard it was terrible.
Oh yeah.
Don't
it's
even bother.
god-awful.
That's why I haven't.
Yeah.
But do you think it's possible to make a good Dragon Ball Z movie?
Not if it's in America.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
if the guy
America
who
botches it.
the guy who created Captain America, that director, if they get him on board to do a Dragon Ball Z movie,
I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, because if you go to Japan, like it's Dragon Ball Z everywhere.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I literally saw a picture last night. It had Colonel Sanders in every other country dressed as Colonel Sanders, and then Colonel Sanders in Japan dressed like Goku.
That's crazy.
whoa,
Yeah,
cool.
so it's like it's in every, like in McDonald's they had, or like some restaurant they had those fry boxes, but it's Goku's head and the fries are his hair.
So
Oh,
it's
dope.
still that popular, then?
yeah,
Or is it because they revamped it?
I think that had a factor into it, but
All
I
of
think
the
it's also
above.
the same thing with like Gundam Wing. Like they have like those huge robots and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just a part of the
Yeah.
culture.
Just like
Yeah.
here, we obviously people crave over the Wolverine-esque movies.
Yeah.
He's in like 20 of them. Yeah.
So
It feels like it's like a quick money grab, like Street Fighter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Those are really.
but I think if you had the right people like involved in it, like if you had like the actual creator of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old now, so I feel like, but at the same time, like it would help.
The issue is the special effects. That's the issue.
Well, I don't think
because like to create a whole movie on green screen is harder than creating a whole movie, you know, with some
but
green
they did
screen.
do like Superman. What's his first one that came out?
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Man of Steel. That was a badass.
That was pretty
one.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when those fight scenes, I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, they could totally do this.
Yeah,
True.
With
but
Dragon Ball Z.
I think with that is you got to think of like the budget.
Yeah.
Where
There's a lot
Superman
more.
has, you know, WB and Warner Brothers
Yeah.
backing him, and he's like a household name.
You could sell it easy.
Yeah, where studios aren't going to look at Dragon Ball Z and be like, "Oh, that's huge in Japan, but how's it going to do in Europe? How's it going to do?"
Tell you
in-"
what, I'll pay to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A good one.
Yeah, so it'll make
Because I was a big fan of
$7.50 off
Dragon Ball Z.
What's crazy is you go on YouTube and there's a bunch of fan films. there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yo,
saw
those-
one or two of them.
There's a lot of great fan films out
Mm.
there, man. They did like a rated R version of Power Rangers a few years ago.
Yeah,
There-
that was
there's
pretty
like
cool.
a Mortal Kombat one that they're trying to get
Mm.
like to find people
Yeah.
to back it up, which were really dope.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
remember playing the Dragon Ball Z video games.
Yeah.
GT, Dragon
Yeah.
Ball GT. That's what I played.
I wish
on
they come out
PlayStation.
with that.
Yeah.
So the new series, is that like a
It-
continuation or is it just a
Yeah.
revamp of all
So
the stories?
basically, when the show ends from like I guess like the '90s series or whatever, Majin Buu or Kid Buu is like the last main villain. This takes place a little bit after that.
Okay.
Something like that. It's not that far
So
off.
Goku, because I don't remember the end of Dragon Ball Z series. What happens at the very end? How does it close?
They have a tournament again, like the tournament that was supposed to go on before Majin Buu when Vegeta went bad again, whatever.
Oh,
So
he went bad again.
yeah, and
Spoiler.
they basically have this little tournament as like a send off, and the main villain Kid Buu was reincarnated as this little kid called Ubu, like UBUU. And he's still as powerful as Kid Buu, but he doesn't know anything. Like he doesn't know he has that power.
Okay.
So Goku kind of basically messed with like the rankings and everything so that he could fight Ubu first. And so he ends up
died.
fighting, and then right before they fight, or like right before the battle is done, they kind of stop, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go train this kid in Ethiopia for a year." Like the kid, he's trying to get money for his village, and then that's how it ends. So it's kind of a
Damn.
stupid ending, but
That is.
so
that-
that literally like that episode was just kind of erased, and they
Mm.
don't really talk about it. And then
So
like,
Goku was alive at the end. Because I remember, didn't
Yeah.
he die?
that was
and
in the
come
Cell
back?
Saga.
Yeah.
he blew himself up, but then.
They got the Dragon Balls?
Yeah, I mean, people die.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy were watching one of the old movies, like back in the day, like one of the first movies that ever came out for Dragon Ball Z, and this villain basically kills everybody on Earth, and then Bulma was like, "Oh, it's okay, we'll just get the Dragon Balls and wish them all back to life."
That's
No
it.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
The-
but yeah,
the-
so
the power creators, or you're like, oh, I kind of messed this up, so let's just do this over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as fans, you're like, okay.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you just go with
Yeah.
it.
It's not
Like-
like I didn't like
Yeah,
the show.
like it's like us messing up. Like, my bad, I taught something really bad. Let me get another crack at it.
Yeah.
You guys. Yeah. So it is what it is.
So where can you watch the new Dragon Ball series?
There's a bunch of episodes online. There's actually a site that I go to. It's called kissanime. They're always changing the last two.
.xxx.
Maybe. No, it's like .to or .so or something like that.
Text me the link.
Yeah. But they literally have all the episodes there.
Nice.
And
Dope.
you can just watch them all there. I think they're on like 70 something right now.
I wonder if that the Cody app, that little jailbroken.
Cody, yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
If you
Because
just
I-
look up Dragon Ball Super, it'll
Yeah.
probably be there.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Like
it
everyone,
shows up.
like there's a lot of hype behind it. Just, I mean, it's enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
it's your childhood again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Don't take it too seriously. That's
Yeah.
right. When you do that,
but
What's the difference between watching a comic book movie or like an animated movie and like a real life like movie? It's the same thing. It's
Same
fantasy
shit,
at the
yeah.
end of the day.
it's
exactly.
fiction.
Yeah. But
Which
my point is whether it's somebody drawn on the screen or
true,
it's a
true,
real
yeah.
guy, it's fiction no matter what.
Regardless.
Yeah.
True, man.
No.
Good stuff.
But you can appreciate good acting. Anyway, I digress. You can't have fake Goku on the screen and judge him on his acting.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Man, this Goku is a terrible actor.
This guy's booty.
Yeah.
Those two actors from that animated movie or the movie, whatever it is, are the stars from Shameless now.
What two guys?
I mean the actress and actor, Goku and did you see that thing that was on Facebook?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In the Dragon Ball movie, those actors and actors, well, I guess they're both actors, whatever. They're in Shameless now.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
they followed each other.
Interesting. Let's end on this. What is Ernie Reyes Jr. doing? What is he up to?
Oh, I don't know.
oh, he was
Because he was in everybody's childhood.
Something happened.
He had cancer for a
yeah,
while.
Yeah.
Not Ernie.
They had like a
Yeah.
big martial arts tournament in order to like raise money for him. Like this, I mean, this was maybe 3 years ago. Or
Yeah,
something
I
like
Is he
that.
remember.
still
It was
alive?
recent. I remember something happened to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
some kind
Is
of
he okay?
illness.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
I haven't looked up into it, but I
Yeah.
know last time I saw he was sick.
Yeah.
Damn. Remember when he had that show?
Which one?
On MTV.
yeah, the
He did?
the
It was
reality show.
Yeah, it was like training Kung Fu Warrior, or it was like the introducing MMA to the world. It was when MMA
Oh,
was
no
just starting.
It was
kidding.
super interesting.
Yeah,
It was kind of like
I
you
gotta-
know,
I gotta
kind of
look for
corny,
that.
but it was
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
was
you'll
like,
watch it.
wait, what was that show back in the day? It
On
was
Fox.
Yeah, it was with
Oh.
Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter. She was like the commentator.
They had Cyborg.
Yeah,
He was that guy from Mortal Kombat. The black dude with
they
dreads.
had different martial arts, and they all represented like a different
Yeah.
clan, but it was all scripted. But
Mhm.
they would have like these fight scenes. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But it was
Oh,
realistic.
dope. I'm gonna look that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, look it up. I mean, it was like one season,
I know.
Yeah.
but
'cause it was-
Ernie Reyes, it was good to see him.
Yeah.
He's
I
in
love Ernie
everybody's
Reyes.
childhood.
I know he really is. Whether from Ninja Turtles or Surf Ninjas.
Yeah,
And that other guy from Rufio. I used to get them mixed up.
and
Not
he's in that
Rufio,
movie
Yeah.
with The Rock.
Rufio.
Yeah,
You know they're actually thinking of coming out with a Rufio movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
yeah.
wow.
Speaking of movies, he didn't see this. Did you see Being John Malkovich?
Years ago.
Oh wow, you did.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. On that note, guys, you guys can keep talking, but I gotta go
Yeah, we
teach
gotta
some
go.
classes so I don't get fired.
Yes.
You got to?
Yeah, we're out.
Guys, I hope
Yes,
you enjoyed these knowledge bombs, these comic book nerdy, geeked out knowledge bombs. Ralph, if they want to go reach out to you, if they have any more questions about like Marvel or anything, where can they reach you at?
Instagram.
My house.
You could
Or same place
you
I
could
could reach
send
them then.
all money to.
I have a
Ralph.
PayPal. No, I think my Instagram is Ralph the Mouth.
There you go.
All one word.
Ralph
Ralph
the Mouth.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much for jumping on. We'll get
Yeah.
another one after like the next
And like,
movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
oh yeah,
Boom. There you go. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely
Boom.
have more questions.
that's right.
And we still got to talk about down the road, maybe tomorrow, UFC, whatever.
Oh yeah,
over the
true.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll go
we
into
got we're out, guys. We hope you enjoyed. Yeah, that's it. Peace.
Bye.
that. Peace.